Hello, students. How's everybody doing tonight? Glad to be here. It is Friday the 13th. Hopefully, nothing crazy will happen, and hopefully, the stream will start here in just a couple of seconds. Okay, how's everybody doing tonight? Happy to be with you, out with you. That's how English works. Out with you once again. And tonight, we're talking about how long it will take you to learn piano. There's a little bit more into it than that. So let me say hi to some people before we begin, and then we'll just get started in about a minute or so. I want to say hello to Rahulio Loco. Welcome back to our classroom. So happy you could join us today. Nathan Cox is back again. Hello, team. Hello, Nathan. Glad to have you out with us. We got Carol Christensen. Computer crashed on iPad. Sorry about to hear that. What a mess. Adria says, since I am here, hopefully it will run smoothly and I won't jinx it. We got Paul. Hello, Paul. Welcome out. Carol Christensen, I think I already said. Real Wednesday fan is here. Friday the 13th. Bernadine, welcome back. We got Linda Reitz, of course, back here again today. Adria, Lynn, and Lanafis. Lanafis, if I am Lanafis. Lanafis. Welcome out to our live stream. So happy you could join us in our class today. All right, everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. I'm going to get the Facebook stream started. It should take probably less than a minute. And then we'll be ready. Hey, Sergio, how you doing? We got Ziad here. How you doing today? Looks like we have a good group out joining us today. All right, so feel free to chime in, say hello. And I'm going to get the Facebook stream started. It should, like I said, it should take less than a minute. Hello, class, and welcome out to our classroom piano lessons on the web. We meet Fridays and Sundays live, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to join us all together in a group, which is way more fun, way more enriching, then I recommend you do so. You're welcome out. And yeah, so if it's your first time here, make sure you like our page on Facebook, subscribe, because we got new lessons coming out all the time. And you don't want to miss a beat. All right, let me get like one or two things ready here real quick. Feel free to chime in the comments, say hello, and it should take just 3 seconds, I would think, maybe even less. There we go. All right, perfect. I think we are ready to go. One question I get literally all the time is, Tim, how long does it take to play piano? Well, it takes exactly 39 days, 21 hours, and 22 seconds to learn piano. There you go, done. Mission accomplished. If I had to give myself a rating on how today's lesson went, I would say 10 out of 10. Of course, I'm just kidding. There is no finite amount of time it's going to take you to learn piano. A lot of people ask me hoping that I'll give them something definite like that, but there's a lot of factors at play that will determine how long it's going to take you, and we're talking about that today. So factor number one is okay, the first factor in how long it's going to take you to learn how to play piano is how much natural ability do you have. A lot of us are, not prodigies, and it isn't going to take us just 5 minutes to learn piano, or even just a few days. There are some very rare exceptions. You've probably seen them out there on YouTube with a 5-year-old that can play piano like way better than probably I'll ever be able to. But for the most part, a lot of us take different amounts of time to learn things. And within music, there's some things you're going to learn right away, and some things you're going to really struggle with. So don't feel bad if you struggle with something that everybody else gets, because as you move along, you might actually find something that you get a lot faster and other people struggle with. So one of the big factors, like I said, is how much natural ability do you have, and it's very subjective. It's not just you're here or here a lot of times. A lot of times it just depends on what the topic is. All right, let's get into the second factor. Oh yeah, I don't have to do that. All right. Factor number 2 is how much practice time do you have each day? You know, some of us are really, really busy like myself, and you don't have 3 hours a day to practice. Some of us have hours and hours a day to practice. Some of us want to practice for long periods of time. Some of us do not. So that's obviously going to factor into, you know, how much progress you're going to make over a period of time. In general, so long as you're spending time on the right things, more practice equals better results or faster results over a period of time. So if I practice 4 hours a day over a month, I'm going to make a lot more progress than just practicing 1 hour a day over a month. But realistically, not all of us have that luxury of time. In fact, a lot of us who are adults, especially, I can't even imagine what it's like having kids. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how all of you do it. Have kids, work, and then do everything else you need to do. I'm barely keeping afloat here. So, you know, you have so many things on your mind, so many things to take care of. So do what you can, but obviously the amount of time you're spending will have an impact on how much progress you're going to make. Okay, the third factor is how many days a week do you practice? Not only how much time during the day do you have to practice, whether it's an hour or 3, but how many days can you get consecutively, most importantly, to practice? Practicing a little bit each day over a long period of time is much better than practicing hours and hours all at once. However, if you only have 1 day a week to practice, that might be what you have to deal with in terms of making progress, and that's something that's going to factor into it. If you can, try to get more days of practice in and less time. I mean, obviously, if you could get 4 hours a day every day, that would be absolutely amazing, but you're 99.9 of us probably are not going to be able to do that. So get what time you can, and then if you are only getting it in on 1 day, see if you can rearrange your schedule to get them in, you know, maybe smaller sessions every day. All right, I'm going to say hello to some people here in a minute after we get through the next couple of factors here. Okay, factor number 4 is how well do you focus during your practice session. Earlier, I mentioned that, you know, obviously the amount of time you're spending is going to factor into it, but really, what are you spending your time on? Are you goofing around, or are you like getting right into the things of what you really need to cover? What I recommend you do is come up with a list of things you have to cover during the practice, like scales, sight reading, ear training, or whatever you feel like you need to add in your practice mix. You can obviously also ask your teacher, if you have one of those, what you should be practicing each day. Make a list of those. Cover those things first in your practice session, and then goof around. I actually recommend you do goof around just a little bit during your practice, towards the end, of course, because learning piano should be fun, right? And if you're spending all your time on these things that you may kind of like, you may not like at all, you want to be spending some time on things you do like I mentioned in one of my previous videos about losing interest in piano and needing to reignite that you do want to have some fun when you practice. But it can't be all fun and games, because if it is, you're not going to make that progress that you want. Okay, factor number 5 is how do you define learning piano anyway? A lot of people, when they ask me how long does it take to learn piano, I think in their minds they have, how long is it before I can play like Mozart? Well, the answer is probably never. I hate to tell you, because Mozart was a genius, a prodigy, and trained from the time he was very, very young. So like I said, a lot of us do not have, I don't even know if I would call it a luxury at that point, but the luxury of the time and the talent. So when I'm talking about all this, I'm talking about how long does it take to be able to read music, play pieces on your own, gradually get into more and more difficult pieces as you get along. But basically, can you play piano pieces for somebody else? And do those pieces sound like what they're supposed to, or close to it? You know, can you play Happy Birthday on the piano, and does it sound like Happy Birthday? You could even say that at that point you've learned piano. You can play something on piano for somebody, but it really depends on what you're shooting for and what your goals and how you define it as. I'm making a very loose definition, but the answer is if you're actually looking for the answer of how long does it take to master piano, become concert level, all that stuff, it depends on all the factors that I've given you above. However, it really depends on how far you want to go, but to be honest with you, to master piano and get to that level, it takes years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And I really believe that you can never completely master piano because there's so much more to learn out there. Like, the more you learn about piano and music, usually the more that's out there that you can understand. So it keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. And there's no real definite endpoint, especially in the modern age where we have electronic music. And there's different, things to learn behind making those sounds, the oscillators and things like that. So there's always new stuff to learn thanks to technology, even if you do somehow master all of the classical, Baroque, 20th century stuff. So there's a lot to learn. It'll take a lifetime to master. Now, I'm not saying you can never learn piano. Don't get it twisted. But Mariana says never is probably right. Well, guess what? I got to tell you something, Mariana. I'm probably never going to be as good as Mozart. In fact, probably not even probably. I know people say never, so I shouldn't say I'll never be as good as Mozart, but I'll probably never be as good as Mozart. Okay, I'm going to open it up for questions. I do want to quickly mention that today's lesson is sponsored by our merch over on teesprings.com. If you're in the United States, there's now there's like a banner below the video of our merch in our merch store. So pick it up, show people that you're a Piano Lessons on the Web student, and it also helps the channel out as well. All right, let's get to some comments and questions. All right, we got Bronze Knight is back with us again. Hello, Bronze Knight. Happy to have you out with us. We got Barbara Farron says, got it. Sergio says, hello. Mamba is here. Hello, Tim. Long time no see. Indeed, Mamba. Glad to have you back with us again today. I've been working on my technique. Excellent. And I finally got the gravity drop thing from the shoulders. Good to see you again. Good to see you again. So happy you could come out. And anybody else out, if you are a first-timer here, or even if you're a returning student, I want to tell you that you're welcome to come back anytime, and I always love to see students come back to our classroom. I find that when people come back on a fairly regular basis, even if it's off and on at times, because I understand you probably get busy, that we have a much better discussion. We all come together and we all get our ideas flowing, and even I learn some things from these sessions. So I encourage all of you to come back on a regular basis. If you want to join us on a regular basis, if you're digging it so far, what I want you to do is in the description, but also as a comment on this video, I have posted a link to the community page on my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com/community, where you can see a calendar of what we're talking about, when we're talking about it, and then also there's a form on the page. Let me show everybody exactly what I'm talking about. There's a form on the page where if you fill it out, so you go to the website, pianolessonsontheweb.com, you click on the community tab. And if you fill out this form right here, you're going to get an email reminder 30 minutes before we meet. It's a lot more reliable than YouTube. Sometimes I do forget a little bit, and then I send you one 10 minutes before we meet. But you will get an email reminder before we meet. So if you want to attend regularly, which I definitely encourage, then I recommend you do that. Okay, this is the first time I've watched, Lanafa says. I'm from Indonesia. Hope this is exciting. I hope it was exciting for you. All right. Brilliant, says Luchingador. Thank you very much. I have 3 hours a day, and I'm using them. Woot. Howdy, folks, says Gary. Check 7 days a week, except when I'm sick away from home. I already learned synthesis top tip. What? It's tough, very tough, but very effective. Centorial. I've learned synthesis. I'm not sure what Andy is saying here. I might have missed the first part of the question. Let's see. Nathan says, this is a little left field, but how is it beneficial to learn the circle of fifths? How do you apply it? Why is it important? Okay, so I'll quickly answer this since it's not the topic of tonight. But the circle of fifths really helps you learn and understand your key signatures. Now, can you memorize your key signatures without the circle of fifths? Sure. But some of us are visual learners, and it will also help, those who are visual learners check, map out what the key signatures are. The key of, C has 0 sharp, 0 flats, but that's also related to A minor. So it also helps in relative keys. Let me point you to a lesson that I highly recommend you check out that we did fairly recently that will shed some more light on some other uses you can do with the circle of fifths. So let me type it in, see what happens. There's my other circle of fifths video. Yeah, you know what? Just type in uses for circle of fifths and lessons on the web. I mean, it comes up anyway, but it'll come up, at least for me, as the third one here, the one with the colorful gears here. 4 amazing uses for the circle of fifths you might not know about. Take a look at that lesson. That lesson is going to help illuminate more on why you should probably learn, why you should definitely learn, at least become familiar with the circle of fifths. Let me give everybody a link them to this, and there we go. So there is a link there. All right, let's take a look here. I'm getting down to questions here again. I've changed my goals since started learning. Originally, I wanted to play my synthesizer, and now I just want to learn lovely classical pieces to play on lovely pianos. Excellent. And I know that you got and Andy says, do not be afraid to change your goals. I agree. Every now and again, you should rearrange your goals for sure. Okay. And I know you got a lovely keyboard, a lovely piano recently, so that's perfect. Thank you for your videos, says Fatma. Welcome out to our live stream. They're really helpful, especially for a beginner. Excellent. Glad to hear that. Bronze Knight says, I'm not that busy for piano, but I have 2 days a week to practice. Yeah, so some of us only have 2 days a week. Exactly. So you kind of have to deal with what you're given. Ziad says, how can I practice with regular way? Sometimes feel like I practice wrong. What I recommend you do, Ziad, I'm going to get you a link here. Just give me a second. If you have not checked out my free ebook, The Piano Practice Guide, I want you to do that. All you have to do is fill out a form with your email, and it will be emailed to you. So let me, Piano Practice Guide. So I'm sending you a link here, ebook. There you go. So check that out. I think that'll help you out. And then if not, just ask me a question at Facebook or maybe email, and I'll illuminate on that some more. Okay, let's take a look here. Terry Moore says, glad to be here. Hey, Tim. Hey, Terry. Glad to have you out in our classroom. Like I told everybody, that whether you're new or returning, you're always welcome to come back. I always love to see more and more members of our community join in. Okay, Centaurals, a synthesizer teaching software by Audible Genius. Okay. A company owned by website programmer, musician, the teacher Joe Hanley. All right. I wasn't familiar with that. Fatma says, I can't pay for weekly piano lessons, so I'm having them once or twice a month. Do you think that will be useful enough? Yeah, certainly better than no lessons at all. Certainly. It's good to have a teacher sometimes to get that feedback. And so long as you're diligent about your practice and you practice the things your teacher is telling you to do, you should be in all right shape. If you ever get the money to do so, do get the weekly piano lessons. But no, you can definitely make some progress with what you got. Okay, Roland's a fan is just telling me again what Centaural is. It's been around 8 months since I started, says Luchingador. I mastered the scales, I can read music good enough, but sometimes I'm still playing the wrong notes unless I'm directly at the piano. Let's see, I mastered the scales, I can read music, but sometimes I'm sitting at the piano, still playing wrong notes unless I'm looking directly at the piano. That's pretty normal for 8 months in. Believe it or not, you might feel like 8 months is a long time to be learning piano, and it's really not. So, don't get me wrong, you can learn a lot of piano in 8 months, but you're still nowhere near as good as somebody who's been playing for years, at least for the most part. So if you're still hitting wrong notes, not looking at the piano, that's okay. When you hear a wrong note, though, glance down and do correct the note. Over time, that should get better. Barbara Farron says, can anyone suggest how to reinforce an X-style piano stand? Oh, I'm not so good at this because I'm going to tell you something. I'm not like a handy person at all, which will help with my house, I'm sure. Or should I replace it? Are Z stands better? I have an X stand. Or no, I have a Z stand. I almost told you I had an X one, but I definitely have a Z stand. I can't tell you which one's better. The Z one works great. It's hard to have speed and accuracy when the keyboard is moving to and fro. Honestly, with the Z one, if I really hit it, it doesn't move that much, honestly. It doesn't. I have had times where it does, like if I really hit on it, it might like vibrate a little bit, but I'm doing it now. It's all good. So the Z, I have a Z1 and it works pretty good. And I have a pretty heavy piano as well. My in real life tutor has mooted doing 2 lessons a week. Do you think that's too much? It depends on what you're trying to go for, Andy. I taught a student for many, many years 2 lessons a week, I mean. And he did really, really well with it. He really excelled at 2 lessons a week because I think it provided him more structure. Now, he was younger, he was a teenager, and they kind of need that structure. But if you have the money and you have the interest, I would say go for it. It's not absolutely necessary, but like I said, if the interest is there, it will pay off, but really that part of it is up to you. The Chain Door says, and I'm also not fast enough for trills. Sometimes I'm not fast enough for trills. Sometimes I really have to work on them to get them right, especially if I haven't practiced them in a while. So that's pretty normal. Just keep practicing them, and they will get better, and practice more pieces with trills in them. Checking in from cold Bangor, Maine, which I'm sure isn't very cold today, says Fuddy Duddy. Or no, I said that. Fuddy Duddy says, checking in from Bangor, Maine. My old upright was steady as a rock. Thanks, says Z.I. You're very welcome. Gary says, yes, those things don't want to be moved. I guess you can say I'm changing my goals since I'm rethinking piano practice, so I'm not practicing like a robot. So that's good. So you're taking, I forget what that girl's name was. Not so much a girl, a young woman, her name. You remember what it was, but yeah. So if you want to not practice like a robot, you can try that out. Try switching things up a bit. Try changing your goals. Hey, Avi, how you doing? We got a lot of like returning older students here. Not old as an age, but well, some, but older as in they haven't been here in a while. And it's so great to see you, Avi. Avi says, I've missed your videos. I missed you too, Avi. Glad to have you back with us again for another fantastic class. All right, does anybody else have questions about what we talked about tonight? I think while some more questions are coming in, I think what I'm going to do is just give me a second here to bring it up, because I actually haven't talked about this in a couple of weeks, but that's because I assume people are on vacation and busy with things. But just in case, just so you know, if you're digging our lessons, you're learning a lot, I really highly recommend you check out the courses over on my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com, because they can really help you take your piano playing to that next level. So whether you're a beginner just getting started, or you're an intermediate or advanced student looking to really get things to that next level, I highly recommend you check out the courses. You're going to learn the fundamentals of piano and build your skills to learn the songs that you have always wanted to play. And like the channel, this is no gimmicks. It's real instruction. You're going to learn piano, music theory, improvisation, rhythm, ear training, and more, and in more detail than what the YouTube channel will cover. And you will not only learn each topic, but you're going to practice and master it as well, because these courses have instructional videos, notes, worksheets, and real sheet music to practice off of. You can contact me anytime with any questions you have, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. And the other things you can read about, learn at your own pace, and then they are compatible with pretty much any device. There are a ton of courses to choose from. So if you click on music courses here, I don't think I clicked on it, right? There we go. Now we got it. And you scroll down, you can see that we have a ton of piano courses. Got some music theory courses here. We got rhythm. We got ear training, sight reading, and then we also have improvisation here at the end. So feel free to take a look. If you're interested in a course, you just click on View Course, and then it takes you to the course description page where you can watch a sample video, see exactly what the course covers, what you should know before taking the course. And then, of course, if you go to the Buy Courses page, you can get a pretty good discount by buying the courses in course packs. So if you're just starting out as a beginner, you can get this course pack for $39.99. It includes 4 courses. This is a good deal because courses are $29.99 a piece. So you can do the math there that it's a pretty sizable discount. So I wanted to tell you about that because, like I said, if you like what you see over here on the YouTube channel and you also want to support our channel, check out the courses over there and take your piano playing and understanding of music to that next level. And then let me know, of course, any questions you have, tim@lessonsontheweb.com, and I'd be more than happy to help you out. Okay, let's see what we got here. How long does it take to play a piano? Well, that's what we're talking about today, Talkpoor asks. How you doing, Talkpoor, by the way? Welcome out to our classroom. So how long it takes to learn piano depends on a lot of things, such as how long or how fast of a learner you are, how much time each day do you have to practice, how many days a week do you have to practice, and some other factors that we talked about tonight. You can check out the recording that will be posted as soon as we're done here this evening here at this link, and you can check it out there. You can honestly learn how to play pieces on the piano within just a few weeks. I can't really tell you how many weeks because it depends on, again, all those other factors. But I'd say within a month, if you practiced every day, you should be able to play through some pieces and definitely have a good start playing piano. To master piano, it takes a lifetime. like I was talking about earlier, there's so many pieces, so much to learn, so many different styles that it will take a lifetime. And now there's also a lot of like new stuff coming out with the progression of technology. There's oscillators and synthesizers and things like that, and learning like different programs to write music and things. So the amount of knowledge is even expanding, even if you could somehow keep up, which in my opinion it's impossible. You'll never completely have piano mastered, but that's one of the great things about it. I'm trying to play Ragtime, says Barbara. Yeah, definitely a tricky one. Macaulay McDonald says, do you offer online one-on-one sessions? I will be soon. I am in the process of buying a house right now, and then I have to fix some things up and then move into the house. And so right now, I'm just kind of I'm just basically getting further along in that process before I do open up private one-on-one lessons online. But I definitely have the capability. I definitely have the setup. Actually, if you signed up for lessons with me one-on-one, they would be over Skype, which is a free software, and you would see pretty much everything you see now. I can show you the keyboard, everything like that. So it would work just like the YouTube lessons do. I have given them before, but like I said, I'm just really busy buying a house right now, so I do not offer that at this time, but I will soon, probably in the fall, or as we get closer to the fall. It might not even be that long. I might even start it before I move, but the thing I'm thinking about is I'd hate to start up on something and then have to cancel lessons because I'm too busy or something. I'd rather have like a period where I can fit them in a bit easier. So the answer is soon. Not now, but soon. And welcome, by the way. Avi says, I was really busy with my studies, and I can't use YouTube in my hostel, if I am pronouncing that right. That's okay. Being busy with your studies is a good thing. Adria says, yep, that video by Tiffany Poon. Okay, I always forget about that. About not having a routine as she feels like a robot, but of course she does not have she has a lot more flexibility being a graduate from Juilliard. So you don't need to go that advanced. Yeah, you can do it. You can take some of the advice she said, but she really seemed like she was really, really wild with it. She really kind of let it flow. She wasn't super structured in her practice. Real Ones and Fans got a scoot. Thanks for coming by, Andy. Hope you have a great night. Fighty Day says, try the ultimate support. Okay, it looks like it's a stand. That might be the one I even have. I'm not sure. Mamba says, Tim, I've self-studied for 5 years now, and I feel like that I have leveled off, which is pretty freaking normal. I would like to find a good playing teacher that can now help me fine-tune my stuff, and unfortunately, no maestros. So, yeah, look for piano teachers in your local area. Like I said, I am opening up private lessons soon. Not right now, though. It's going to be at least a couple of months, I think. So sometime in the fall, we'll be opening that up. But look for a teacher around your area. What I would do is, I'm not sure exactly where you live, but if you go on Facebook, a lot of times there is like a group for your area. Like there's one for my hometown. It's called the town, whatever the town is, message board. So search that up on Google, whatever town you're from. And then message board. See if there's a message board for your local area on Facebook, and post a request asking if anybody knows any piano teachers, and that's a great way to find piano teachers. Craigslist is another one. I kind of stay away from Craigslist because there's a lot of weirdos on there, but there's a lot of weirdos on the internet in general, or in life in general. That's one thing a lot of people say is like, oh, I would never date somebody I met online, or I never meet somebody I met online. But the thing you have to understand about people online, as I'm sure you can all know this right now, is that you're all people. You know, it looks like you're all a list of names, but I know that there's a real person with the real feelings, real ambitions behind every name. So I don't think meeting anybody off the internet is any more dangerous than meeting somebody like at the gym or at the grocery market or pretty much anywhere. You got to do your homework on people. If they come up with criminal history, then you're in trouble. But anyway, yeah. Check out your local message board. See if you can find a teacher there. But certainly hitting plateaus is something very normal. Adria says, nice, I pretty much know. Okay. That was just a reply to Andy. I can get regular basic music teachers, but I think I need a real maestro. So what you want to do, Mamba, I missed that part of the question, is go to a local university around your area, or a music school, or anything you can think of related to music. Go there and ask if you have anybody there that's willing to teach you who has music degrees, whether they have a master's degree or at least a bachelor's degree in teaching music. Mamba says, hello, Truman. Truman says hello. If you have a private online lessons, how can you show me what Babbitt habits I have that you can see when in person? Great question. So you need one of two things. One is you either need a setup like mine where I can see your piano keys, but chances are a lot of us don't have that type of tripod, that type of camera. So what you can do that would work is set up a laptop or a phone or something next to where you practice, so I can at least see you from the side, so I can comment on your posture. I can comment, obviously I can use my ears to hear if you're playing the right notes or not for the most part. And then if you could get one that's pointed at your hands, that would be fantastic, but at least one pointing at you somewhere. If that doesn't work while we're doing the Skype lesson, you can also feel free to submit recordings to me. Like, you can just record yourself on video playing piano at any time, and then send me over a YouTube video, and I'd be more than happy to comment not only on your playing in general, but your posture, generally how you're playing, and if you're making any big mistakes on that front. So we can make it work, especially if you have some kind of camera, which today with iPhones and things like that, we're way past camera phones. We got camera phones and much, much more. We got smartphones, which I don't even have yet. I don't even have a smartphone yet. Isn't that weird? But anyway, we can make that work. Okay, Macaulay says, sounds good, man. Good luck with the house. Thank you very much, Macaulay. I appreciate that. And I will be in touch with it. I will let you all know when the Skype lessons are available. Can you, XY says, can you learn piano by yourself and also the music theory? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. You can obviously learn how to play pieces on piano all by yourself, learn music theory all by yourself. However, I do recommend getting a private lesson teacher every once in a while so that you can get some kind of feedback on your playing. Excuse me, I have some burps coming. So like I mentioned to Mamba, that I really need to kind of see, or you need a teacher to see kind of like what's going on, how you're playing, to give you some commentary on that as well. But yeah, you can learn piano by yourself. Another lesson that I recommend everybody check out is Teach Yourself Piano YouTube. Let's see what this does. Actually, you know what? Just type in Teach Yourself Piano, unless it comes up here real quick. Teach Yourself Piano, and then Lessons on the Web, the name of the channel. And then check out this lesson here. It says How to Teach Yourself Piano Using YouTube and Online Resources. It's there, me with the graduate cap. So take a look at that one. That will kind of help give you some more information on that. I'm going to copy a link over to everybody who's attending right now, and so you can get a hang of that. Okay, and then I'll get to Avi's super chat here in a second. Okay, I really want to say thank you so much to Avi for the 100, I'm not sure what currency that is, super chat. I really, really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. If you like today's lesson, you want to leave me a tip, feel free to leave us a super chat. So thank you so much, Avi. Okay, Carol Christensen says, my goal was originally to learn how to play Christmas music, but I have since decided to expand my goal. I really want to be able to play some classical jazz and just get better. All right, well, that's fantastic. Okay, San Francisco, Mamba. So you live in a very good area to find pretty much anything. You live in a city, so or near a city. So yeah, go to your. You might even be able to go to Berkeley, but I'm not. Wait, where's Berkeley exactly? I don't know. Anyway, find a music school around where you are, and go there and just go into the main office and ask if there's anybody giving piano lessons. You'll find a lot of good quality people there. Hi Tim, do you sell books on your site? I do not sell books on my site. However, I do have a list of recommended books in my Amazon store, which you can find. I hope I have it. Oh, here we go. You can find right here. There's also recommended keyboards and equipment in here as well. But here you go. So here you go. You can find that there. So those are the ones I recommend. Okay. Hi, all, says Jim Carter. Do so much to learn on piano. Welcome out. We have a lot of new students here today. Like I said, I welcome all of you to keep coming out. We meet Fridays, Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern. So glad to have you here. Okay, so much to learn on piano can seem slow at times. Very understandable. Need to make practice enjoyable, but needs to be work to be rewarding, I guess. That's true. There is going to be some work involved. But like I said, try to sneak some things into your piano practice that are also fun to do. University is going to be a good lead. Thank you. You're very welcome. Does Tim have perfect pitch, says Luchingador? No, I do not. I actually have a story about that. There's a class in college, or music school when I went, called AURLs. And there was 4 levels of AURLs that we had to take. 4 levels. And they were extremely difficult for me in the beginning. And what AURLs is it's basically ear training, learning how to hear the differences between intervals, chords, things like that, except they get into a lot more detail about it than I do here on the channel. And also dictation, which is writing down music that you hear. They'll play like seriously a full-scale piece, not the entire piece, but like a line of it, with like 4 different parts going, and you have to figure out not only the rhythm of them, but you have to figure out the pitches as well. It really destroyed me in the beginning. You can tell that they are used to kind of weed people out, those AURLs classes. But to do well at those, you obviously have to have a natural ability. So people with perfect pitch did really well at AURLs, because the pitches kind of just appear in their mind. Like I could play this, and they could say that is an A. Oh, that was an A. Maybe I do have perfect pitch. No, that was a fluke. Oh, that's another A, because that's an octave. See, I be using my intervals, I could figure it out. That is an E. Oh, a D. I kind of thought D for a second. So I do not have perfect pitch, unfortunately. My pitch has gotten better. But perfect pitch is usually a God-given gift that you're usually born with. Some people can train their ears to get almost perfect pitch, but it's not the same as somebody who just has that gift. Wow, Avi, that is a generous super chat. Tim will appreciate that one. I guess 100. RS is not that much in USD, but that's all right. I appreciate it all the same. Yeah, I believe, if I understand how super chats work, is that the blue ones, the green ones, are the lower ones. So like a few dollars, I think that shows up for. And then there's different colors. Like red is like really high super chat. So it was like $100 US, that's what it would be. But no, any amount I appreciate for sure. And all the best in your new home. Thank you very much. Very nice. He deserves it. Thank you, Adria. Truman says thank you. Tim's recommended books are really helpful, says Carol Christensen. Thank you, Carol. I want to learn the music theory, and my question is, which order should I learn the stuff, or what topic should I start, says XY. Well, XY, I'm going to give you a link to another lesson here. And the reason I like to link to my old lessons is not only does it help out my channel because you'll be watching more videos, but honestly, because these lessons were designed as like a half-hour session on me talking about this topic all on its own, it can describe it in a lot more detail than I can right now, especially since these are already prepared. Hold on. Music theory. Let me get you a lesson here. We did fairly recently. Here it is. Here it is. Are you guys ready for this? All right, this will definitely get you started on the music theory. So check out that lesson. It's the essentials of music theory for beginners. Let's see. I'm trying to learn to play Canon in D. I love it. I love Canon in D as well. That's a great piece to learn. Hi, Tim. I've already learned a lot from your videos. I really have learned a lot, rather. Thank you very much, Gabby. I really, really appreciate that. Is it important to practice scales to learn classical music? Yes. Scales you find, scales are important to learn no matter what genre of music that you are trying to learn, especially classical, actually, because you're going to have some runs, like in classical music, you're going to find sections of the music that are literally just scales or sections of scales. And by learning the proper fingering and how to play the right notes, then it'll make those passages much, much easier. It's also really good in understanding how, like, the layout of each key. So if you know your scales, you know the key of G has 1 sharp, F sharp, and you can visualize that on the keyboard using scales. Maybe you could start by knowing tones and semitones, learn the major scales, says Sergio. So that's all good. Yep. I don't know what Tim thinks about that. Yeah, check out that lesson I posted. For sure. All right, any more questions tonight? We had a very good lesson, a very good question-answer session. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell. Ring it like it's never been rung before, so that YouTube will actually tell you when our lessons are coming out, because subscribing is no longer enough. I don't know why subscribing even exists if they're going to make you jump through all these other hoops, but they have their methods and their madness. Can you play any jazz music before you end it, like outro? The only thing I can play that's jazzy is, like, off the top of my head anyway, is the B-flat blues. There we go. All right. Let's see what other people are saying here. Sorry, Tim, I'm not that good of a speller. That's all right, Truman. Night, Tim. Night, all. It's very late for Abigail. And thank you, Tim. You're very welcome, Abigail. Thanks for coming. That I have your videos to look at. And I will email you. Terrific. Glad to hear. We'll be glad to hear from you. Avi says heart face. Heart eye emoji. Adria says, any updates on the house? Any other news? Hope it's all going very well. So what's going on right now with the house is that I have gotten it inspected. There are a number of little problems with it. There's nothing major, so no problems with the foundation. There's no evidence of it ever leaking anywhere. The roof looks like it's in decent shape. So all that stuff's good, because a lot of that stuff can be a deal breaker, because it's really expensive to correct, and in some cases, if the damage is really bad, then you just shouldn't buy the house at all. The little thing, there's like a lot of list of little things, and now some of them are considered major defects that they should fix. I have requested that they fix those. Anything that causes a hazard to the house or makes something not operate correctly, that will be something that they will hopefully cover. They have to agree to it, though. I can't really ask them to fix anything like really dumb, like if I don't know, like if a cabinet door doesn't close, I can't really get them for that. But so I just basically sent them a list of things I would like them to fix based on the inspection. Hopefully if they fix all of it, I'm gonna be elated. Hopefully they will fix at least the bigger items on the list. Some of the things are pretty minor, but some like there's and now it's easy to fix. It's just that you have to pay somebody to do it. There's like a power cable somewhere that has a split in it, and that's not good. So there's some things that absolutely need to be fixed. They don't necessarily going to cost a lot of money to fix, but I'm hoping that they will cover a decent portion of those. So that's where we are now. I sent them a thing requesting that they fix things from the inspection, and hopefully we can work something out. There's nothing really there, though, that is going to make the house fall over, so that's good. Sergio... Love your video, says bye, says Avi. Well, bye-bye. Have a great one. Sorry I could not be here earlier, says Avi. There are times when, or says Abigail, rather, I'm not here due to other commitments. That's perfectly fine, but I know you will forgive me, Tim. That is true. Brenda Halder says, nice. Thank you very much, Brenda. I wasn't even aware you were here tonight, but so happy that you are. Good night, Tim. Have a good one. Good night, Truman. Hi, Tim. In rhythmic theory, specifically, syncopation is more professional to make emphasis on some notes, even if it's not mentioned in the sheet music. Could you mention some example? Oh, that's a loaded question, Sergio. I really need to make a lesson on syncopation. And... rhythmic seriously, is it more professional to make emphasis? Oh, it's subnotes, excuse me. Okay, so I see what you're saying. So, you know what? I honestly would have to make a lesson of that ahead of time, and just make sure that I'd be correct in everything I'm telling you, because to be honest with you, I don't remember exactly right off the top of my head. I don't deal with syncopation a ton, and I'd really have to look that up before I could comment on it right now. So sorry about that. I will, but what I will do is I'm going to write this down in my list of lesson ideas, syncopation, because I have never done a syncopation lesson here on the channel before, and I think it'd be a good idea to do one. There we go. Okay, so I got that down on my lesson list. Let's see. iClap2 says, Gabby, thank you very much. Why do a lot of people say that you can only learn piano when you're a child? That is not true at all. Is it right or is it never too late? It's never too late. It does help to learn piano as a child, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Honestly, I've had children who have learned from like really when they should start learning, at least with me. I recommend they be 6 years old. You can start your child learning piano before that. Just keep in mind, I asked them to be 6 years old because a lot of times students younger than that can't sit still for long enough for a piano lesson. But if you want to teach your kids, real early on, if you want to get them that exposure, just get them playing around on the piano, goofing around on it a little bit, so they really look at the piano as a positive thing. Anyway, back to your question. You do not need to learn piano as a child. I've had students that caught up to their child counterparts. So say I have a student that learned from when he was 6 to the age of 16, 6 to 16. And I had another student start at 20, right? I've had that 20-year-old catch up to that student who's been learning the whole time. So it really depends on you and your natural ability, and there's so many different factors at play. It's absolutely ridiculous to say that if you didn't learn piano as a really, really young, like 6 years old or younger, that you can't learn. That is ridiculous. And even if you're 40 years old, 60 years old, I've even had students learn as late as 80. Like, I had a student that was 84 one time. Now, she took lessons a couple of years before, like maybe 4 years before, a few years. And she could play pretty well. I was really impressed. So you can learn piano at any age. Don't worry, Tim. Maybe next time. Thanks for your time and teachings. You're very welcome, Sergio. Adria has it right. I'm 25, says Adria, and I'm learning piano. Exactly. Exactly. All right, everybody. You know what I think I'm going to do, because we're almost at the hour? I'm going to do an outro for when I clip this video together. It will make a lot more sense. And then we'll go from there. So let's see. I'm trying to think about where I want to direct people from this lesson. Okay, I really, really want you to subscribe and smash that bell, because YouTube doesn't tell people about my videos anymore. You have to subscribe and hit the bell, because we have new lessons coming out all the time. I don't want you to miss a beat. Remember that we meet live Fridays, Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern. I would love to see you come out live. And check out this playlist if you want to start getting into learning piano itself. And I'll throw in another lesson here on music theory. So check those out. And the other lessons on the channel. There are a ton. All right, thanks, everybody. I'll see you in the next lesson. Abigail says, you're so right, Tim. Thank you very much. The more you practice, the better you get. True. As of last November, I temporarily canceled lessons, but not giving up. Perfect. Yeah, don't give up. Okay, everybody, thanks for coming out. I hope I've helped you power up your piano skills a little bit, and, go out there and share what you've learned with other people, whether it's through teaching them or playing for them. And thank you for being such a part of something that means so much to me, which is this awesome live class that we get to do together. I have a lot of fun doing it, and I love having you all here. If you came out tonight, it was your first time, or you're a returning student, please come back. Love to see you again. Anyway, thanks everybody. I'll check you soon, and have a great week. Or no, I'll see you again on Sunday. So I'll see you in 2 days.